What up, pimps? It's your boy Christian with a review of the Street Fighter collection. Imagine having all 12 of the best Street Fighter games all on one cartridge. I'm talking every version of Street Fighter 2, Alpha, Street Fighter 3 and Street Fighter 1, all on the same game. Not only that, these ports are arcade perfect, meaning they'll play exactly as they did back in the day. So, what could Capcom do to possibly mess this up? Quite a lot, actually. I don't know about you lot, but I never played any of the Street Fighter games at the arcade. What's the point in paying 50p or even a quid to play a game of Street Fighter when you could buy the game and play it at home forever? See, at home, not only did I not have to pay per turn, I also had access to 6 single player modes like Alpha 3's World Tour and Third Strike's online character trials. The big problem with Street Fighter Collection is that Capcom have done nothing to improve these arcade ports to transform them into something even better. Over the last decade now, Capcom have re-released versions of Street Fighter 2 and 3 with additional modes and features to make them even better than they were when they first released in the arcade. Not only that, you've got games like Ultra Street Fighter 2 which take the original game and change it into something different. Given that this is a Street Fighter collection, would it have been too much to ask to get these improved versions of the classic games instead of the original arcade versions? Better yet, why not both? The arcade ROMs are tiny in terms of file size, so realistically Capcom could have fit more into the package. The problem with having the arcade versions of all these games is that players these days have certain expectations when they buy a fighting game. At the very least, you'd expect 3 modes as standard, like arcade, versus and training. Unfortunately, only 4 of the games in the collection feature training mode, and those are Hyper Fighting, Super Turbo, Alpha 3 and Third Strike. Then you've got the issue of the inputs being made for an arcade, as in each player using an arcade stick. This isn't a problem for hardcore fighting game fans who probably own an arcade stick, but for those using controllers that came with their consoles, this makes things very awkward. Most fighting games these days have some form of input leniency when it comes to performing special moves, specifically for this reason. Capcom should have thought about this beforehand, considering how lax the inputs are for both Street Fighter 4 and 5. But then I suppose they wouldn't have delivered on their promise of the games being arcade perfect. Alright, so there's no additional single player modes, but at least there's online, right? Well, only 4 of the games in the collection can be played online, and those are Hyper Fighting, ST, Alpha 3 and Third Strike. Questionable decisions aside, Hyper Fighting over Alpha 2, what the heck? The netcode on the Nintendo Switch version of the game has been garbage. I'm talking 9 out of 10 of all the games I played were verging on unplayable when it comes to lag. The main reason all the games are so laggy is because there's no prompt before you fight an opponent to tell you what the connection's going to be like. And there's no region selection, so half the time you're playing against someone all the way across the world. I've not played a fighting game with this type of netcode neglect before. It basically makes the online portion of the game unplayable unless you only play with friends. So I could have purchased this game on the PS4 for less money, but I played slightly more to get the Switch version. And the only reason I did this was because of this magic NS adapter that I'm using in the game that allows me to use my arcade stick on the Switch. Without this thing, I definitely wouldn't have bought the Switch version, and I'm going to have a review of it up in the next week. But if you are like wondering which version of the game to buy, just buy any, like as long as you've got a controller or an arcade stick on either of the consoles, it should be fine. Every version runs the same, so just buy it on your favorite one. So I could talk for hours about how Capcom should have put more effort into the games, but that won't change the fact that I've put loads of time into this collection already. Street Fighter is best enjoyed locally with your friends, and that's exactly how I've been playing it. Yes, the netcode should be so much better, and overall the games deserve some improvements, but even without any work put into them, they are still so good. If you've never had a chance to play through these games before, maybe you should rectify that. And that's it for the review. Again, there's another review coming up for the Magic NS thing. That thing's really good. And yeah, please make sure to subscribe for more content just like this. And subscribe to our Twitch as well, because that is sick. Peace.